Okay, so when you picture the Arab world, what's the first image that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably one thing, a huge, endless desert. But what if I told you that's just a tiny piece of a much, much bigger and more complicated puzzle? Today, we're going to take a journey to see the landscapes of the Arab world for what they really are, incredibly diverse and way more varied than you might think. So, let's dive in.
Take a look at this. On the one hand, yeah, you've got that iconic image, those sweeping desert dunes. But on the other, that's also the Arab world. Lush, golden fields of grain, just teeming with life. And this contrast, this is really at the heart of our story today. It's a region that's totally defined by its incredible and often really surprising variety.
So, where is all this taking place? Well, geographically, the Arab world holds this uniquely powerful spot on the map. It's not just a random collection of countries. Think of it like a physical land bridge that literally connects Africa and Asia. It's a crossroads that has, for thousands of years, directed the flow of history, trade, and culture. All right, let's kick off our journey by looking past those desert sands. We're going to explore this land of stark contrast that actually became one of the very first cradles of human civilization. You know, contrary to what a lot of people think, the story of this region doesn't start in the sand at all. It starts in soil, just like this. It was this rich, fertile earth that allowed the very first human civilizations to actually put down roots, to build cities, and to really truly flourish. And of course, that fertile soil needs one absolutely crucial ingredient: water. So now let's turn to the great rivers, the ones that were and, still are, the absolute lifeblood of this entire region. Three names really stand out above all the others: the Nile, the Tigris, and the Euphrates. And these aren't just, bodies of water. You've got to think of them as the arteries that have nourished entire civilizations for thousands and thousands of years, making everything from farming to large-scale cities even possible. Just take the Nile, for instance. It's the perfect example of this. The ancient Egyptians didn't just live near the Nile. Their entire magnificent civilization was built in its valley. Their whole lives were completely attuned to the rhythm of that river's annual flood and retreat. And then, tucked between those other two great rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris, you find another cradle of civilization. This area is called Mesopotamia, which literally means the land between the rivers. Its crescent shape created this incredible oasis of life where things like writing, law, and even the city as we know it were born. Okay, so we've seen the life-giving river valleys. Now let's zoom out. Let's really pull the camera back to see the landscapes that define the region's extremes, those vast deserts and towering mountains. And we'll discover the unbelievable wealth that's hidden just beneath the surface. And yes, of course, the deserts are a huge part of the story. They absolutely dominate massive areas, especially when you look at the Arabian Peninsula. These are incredible, formidable, beautiful landscapes that have deeply shaped the cultures that call them home. And then at the complete other extreme, you get these towering mountain ranges. You've got the Atlas Mountains in the west, which kind of form this natural barrier, and then the rugged Red Sea Mountains in the east. I mean, this is a land of some serious topographical drama. Now, this varied landscape holds some immense wealth, because under all that sand and rock lies an astonishing figure: 2/3 of the entire world's known petroleum reserves. For many Gulf countries, this isn't just a resource, it's the main engine driving their whole national economy. But the region's riches aren't all just black gold. There are other natural treasures, things that are woven really deeply into the cultural identity. I mean, just think of the iconic cedar trees covering the hills of Lebanon, a symbol of resilience and history that has stood there for millennia. So now that we have a feel for the land, from its fertile rivers to its vast deserts and all those hidden riches, let's take a look at how people have adapted to live in such a diverse and, let's face it, often extreme environment. The climate here is really a tale of two very different seasons. In the summer, you've got deserts that are incredibly hot, coastal areas that get super humid, and highlands that actually offer cooler temperatures. But then comes winter, and everything flips. The deserts turn cold, the coasts become really pleasant and moderate, and this is when most of the region gets its rain. And this variety in the environment leads directly to different ways of life. Makes sense, right? In the huge desert areas, you find nomadic and semi-nomadic peoples herding animals. Along those fertile river valleys and the long coastlines of the Mediterranean, Red Sea, and Arabian Gulf, people have relied on farming and fishing forever. And now, more and more, you have these modern urban centers, which are hubs for business and new ideas, often powered by the region's resources. And just when you think you've got the whole pattern figured out, the Arab world surprises you again. Because while most of the rain falls in winter, there are always exceptions. In a country like Somalia, for example, it actually rains all year round, completely shattering any single simple idea you might have had about the region's climate. So, as we wrap up our journey, we're left with this one last thought. In a land of such incredible extremes, from fertile river valleys to harsh deserts, from immense wealth to simple survival, what has ultimately been the most powerful force? Is it the shaping hand of the environment itself, the transformative power of its resources, or is it the incredible adaptability of the people who call this diverse land their home?